So let's go ahead and get started. Mine's on Windows 8. There is a lot of new features. I'm not going to cover all of them. I'm going to cover the ones that I think are useful. Of course, if you have questions for you, those downloaded 10, please ask anytime. Cortana is a new search feature they added. They actually stole it from their cell phones, their mobile phones. It's a personal assistant. It's kind of nifty because you can actually control your whole computer just by asking it to do something. Multiple desktops, I kind of showed you. I'll go a little bit more in a minute. They still have Internet Explorer because they're not done with Edge, but they're trying to scrap Internet Explorer altogether because it's so buggy and so many security flaws that they come out with a new browser that they're calling Edge. It's fast, it's light, it's nice, but like I said, it's not complete. What I mean by complete, there's certain things that it won't run. And mind you, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I know I've seen it, but I can't think of the top of my head of the things that it won't run. But if it doesn't run, it pops up and says, Edge can't do this, do you want to do it in Internet Explorer? And you switch right over to Internet Explorer and it does it, and then you go back to Edge.
So you're saying Internet Explorer is going to go bye-bye one of these days?
It's going to be replaced with Edge once they get it completely running and doing everything. Now Edge is a lot like Internet Explorer. I mean, you'll see it in a few minutes. It doesn't look a big difference. They've added some neat gimmicky features. You'll see why I call it gimmicky here in a minute. And then DVD movie playback. At first, they said they were taking that away from us. They said, Media Center's gone, there's no DVD playback. However, that didn't last, because 2 days after the release, lo and behold, a DVD player downloaded and installed. So clearly they brought it back pretty quick. And I didn't take it out of the slide. It might play, but who cares? All right, pretty much upgrading to Windows 10. Like I told you, you got that little icon over there, that little white icon. You click on it, and it's pretty much following instructions. It comes up and says, do you want to well, it used to say pre-order Windows 10. Now sometimes it says get Windows 10, other times it still says pre-order. You pre-order, all it does is say, hey, I want it, and it'll start to download when your queue, they're actually doing it in waves. So when your queue comes up. If you want to enter your email so that it tells you, so it sends you an email, hey, your download's ready, you can, you don't have to, because it'll actually pop up in the same spot that the little emblem is. It'll pop up there and tell you it's ready there too. And that's it, you're done. I mean, it's that easy to pre-order it. And then once it says we're ready to install, you click it and it does it. Unless you run into a problem like you did, and then we have to bring out a disk and actually install it from disk. Which, like I said, I do have that disk. We can, as a matter of fact, I had to upgrade 2 of my computers that way. Alright, new layout. Your desktop is back to being the main thing. Unlike Windows 8, if you use Windows 8 where you come in and you had this big square tile monstrosity, that's gone. You load into your desktop is back to being the focal point of your desktop now, or your computer. The start menu is what's changed. Primarily what they did is they brought back the Windows 7 desktop, or start menu with all apps, your most frequently used stuff, documents, pictures, PC, or they added settings, which is nice, and your file explorer, which is another way to get to documents and pictures. But they didn't want to go away with Windows 8. They didn't want to totally say, hey, we were wrong. So they took that nasty start screen and threw it into the actual start button now, which can be nice. I mean, you got your weather gives you instant weather. Yeah. If you play games, you get instant access to your games. If you use Microsoft email, you can actually get your email from. This says mail here, but if you set it up, it'll actually give you your latest 5 emails. And you can click on and read them instantly. So it is useful, but not as a whole screen.
Mine doesn't have the documents and the pictures. Almost when you on that.
Yeah, yours just has the file explorer and it's down here.
Okay.
Yeah. This is one of the ways you can set it up to be. Any questions on the layout or anything there?
What does that say? Return to the startup menu. What does that mean? New layout.
Oh, well, in Windows 8, this screen here was gone.
So
it was just,
I had 7.
Exactly. With Windows 8, picture this all the way across.
Oh, okay.
And that's what killed it. People hated it. It drove them nuts. So they brought the start menu back. They killed the start menu, which always used to be just this left half, and made it a start screen. Well, they killed the screen and brought it back to menu like people asked.
Okay.
And that's why I was saying it merged Windows 7 with Windows 8 design elements. This is Windows 8. This is Windows 7.
Yeah.
Taskbar here, that's still Windows 8.
Is there a start icon somewhere?
Yeah, right here.
Oh, well, that's it.
They changed it in Windows 7 and 8, it was a little, well, 7 was the circle.
Yeah.
8, it was that square. And they kept the square, but they actually made the button blend with the taskbar a little bit more.
So those boxes where it's well, store and mail, if you don't use Microsoft, and you really don't use a lot of Microsoft products, like, and if you're not on Twitter, are you like just stuck with that?
No, no, this is completely changeable.
You change all
and
that?
You can even remove all those if you want, but then you just have a bunch of blank space.
Okay, but you can put something else there.
You can put shortcuts to any program, like right here, they're showing you PowerPoint and Word. Any
Okay.
program, you can put a shortcut there. So that way you don't have to go to all programs. You
Okay.
can put the programs you want to hit the
Oh,
most
okay.
there.
That's
Yeah, so yeah, this is completely, all these things can be moved around and,
nice. Okay.
Now, how would you put it there?
huh?
How would you put it there?
What you do is when you're in all apps,
Mm-hmm.
you right click on it and it says pin to start.
Oh, okay, that's true.
It goes right there.
Okay.
Speaking of that, there's also a new feature they added in 10. If you go into your all apps and right click on it, you can actually uninstall the app straight from the start menu. So you don't have to go to add remove programs no more. Now mind you, some apps will open the add remove programs screen,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't have to go, start control panel, add remove programs, scroll down and find it. You can go straight there, right click, say uninstall, and it takes you straight to it and uninstalls it. So they made it real easy to remove programs now with Windows 10 as well. And live tiles, that's what these are. That's why I said they update if you had new mail. Your 5 latest mail messages show up there. So instead of showing you an envelope, it'll actually show you the description of your email.
S is Skype, right? That S on top.
Yeah. Which everybody loves Skype was in 8. They left it in 10. Any questions on the layout there? Or?
Can you put, say, AOL mail in the mail thing?
No, that mail there is particular to Microsoft. But like I said, you can remove that from the start and pin a link to AOL mail right there.
Okay.
Or if you use AOL the software, you can pin the software right there as well.
Okay.
So yeah. So you can customize that to look any way you want. You can also change the colors. And another new feature they added was they tried to adjust your start screen colors if you want. You can turn it off. But you can adjust your start screen colors to go by the color that's in your background. Like for example, that desktop background there, it sees a lot of oranges, so my start menu is orange. I hated it, so I went in there and turned it off and made it blue. I wonder if this will actually... Oh, there we go. Aha!
There we go.
Burger.
Orange, okay.
There's the default start menu.
That's what mine looks like.
Yeah. So as you see, you got your all apps down here.
Right,
You got Power, Settings, File Explorer,
right.
most frequently used stuff. And then I have the weather right there, and as you see, it's showing me the next 3 hours worth of weather. Microsoft Edge will get to little photo slideshow of photos. There's my kids with Ariel at Disney.
Oh.
I don't use the mail app, but I got there to show you. Cortana's there, but Cortana's also down here in the 0, which we'll go over that a little bit.
What's that?
That's your personal assistant.
Oh,
So I have a whole section on that one.
Remember when they had that little dog? Remember back in the day when they had that little dog that helped you, your
Yeah.
personal assistant?
Yep, that's it. He's back without
You need a
me.
microphone for Cortana.
No, there is direct text input. You can type your questions, but if you want to do it by voice, then yes, you need a microphone. And you want a decent microphone. Microphones built into laptops just ain't strong enough. You try to use it, it says, I can't hear you. They just ain't strong enough. Unless you know right where your microphone is and you hold it up to your mouth and start screaming at it. But with an actual microphone, it works pretty fairly good. Because it actually uses the same voice recognition the phones do. So that it hears anybody. And it also has a feature, I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit, but what I'm thinking about it. It also has a feature where you can lock Cortana to your voice. You can spend about a half hour talking to her, and then after that, she won't respond to nobody but you.
Really?
Yeah.
I think that's what you want.
Yeah.
All right, any more questions on the
I
desktop?
hope she's smarter than my GPS lady.
Any more questions on that before I move on? All right.
Not yet.
All right, here's some of the new features. Scheduled restarts. I'm sure we've all seen this where Microsoft downloads an update and then a day later says, I don't care what you're doing, we need to restart your computer, we're restarting your computer.
Yeah.
They did away with that, that's gone. Now what will happen is it will come up and say your computer needs to be started, when would you like me to do it? And you schedule a time. Even if your computer's in sleep mode when that time comes, it will turn the computer off, do the update, and turn it back on for you. So they finally listened to us about being in the middle of something and shutting off on us.
Are any of those restarts like virus things or, I mean,
90% of your Windows updates are security fixes. So they're not necessarily virus signatures, like a virus scan would be, but it closes holes that hackers are exploiting. So that's why 90% of the time you want to do the Microsoft updates, because it's closing holes. That's also why I think the number now is like 2% of the time those updates cause problems because they're closing something that a program of yours was using, and then they start fighting one another. But Microsoft's gotten pretty good about not putting things out that crash your computer. Another nice new thing that Microsoft with Windows 10 is really trying to catch up with the smartphone market. So what they have done is they've come out with what they're calling universal apps. Same app across different ways of getting to it. So in other words, you have your Solitaire, which is Microsoft Games, is actually the same one that you get on Xbox, on Windows Phone, and on all your PCs. So if you're playing Solitaire at home, and you're midway through a game, you can pick it back up on your phone.
There's got to be a Windows phone.
It doesn't have to be a Windows Phone. Now, they're actually getting ready to come out with an Android and an iPhone app to make them all talk. They also, I haven't seen it yet, so I don't think they've implemented it, but Microsoft also announced that they're coming out with Apple and Android, I don't want to call it an emulator, but pretty much any of your favorite Apple or Android programs that you run on your tablets or your phones will be able to run natively inside Windows 10. So in other words, you'll be able to access the Apple Store and download it right on your computer, access Play Store, download it right on your computer, and play those games on your computer whenever you want. They've said it's coming. They said, actually, they made it sound like it was supposed to be here on release day. It didn't make it because I have yet to find it. Now, Continuum, I put that in there for people who use tablets or laptops, especially Surface tablets, which are Windows 8. Continuum is really just tablet mode. Allows you to hit a button, and what it does is it brings that start menu back into a start screen and makes everything a little bit bigger. And it's so that you can, on your tablet, be able to access everything with your finger instead of it being small. Because on a desktop, typically everything is higher resolution, so it's typically smaller. So when you jump into tablet mode, it makes everything a little bit bigger so that your fingers can get to it without having issues. Windows Hello, which is a new face recognition and fingerprint. As of right now, you need special equipment because the face recognition needs a special infrared camera. There's only 3 laptops on the market right now that have it, but you can buy like a Logitech camera with the infrared in it. And pretty much what that does is you sit down in front of your computer, you smile pretty, and it unlocks for you. So it does away with the password. The fingerprint, same thing. If your computer has a fingerprint scanner, you're ready for this. You can set fingerprint scanner, swipe your finger, unlocks the computer, just like Windows 8 and 7 did. But before Windows 8 and 7 used specialized software, which could crash. Now it's part of Windows. So it's ready to go right out of the box. You just have to have the proper equipment. Phone companion. Now that is halfway running. And let me show you what I mean by halfway running. Where is it? All right, you know what? I don't feel like searching for it, so I'm going to use Cortana in there. There it is. And of course, it opens on my screen. So let me bring it over where you guys can see it. Oh, he's not going to let me. There we go. There you go. The phone companion pretty much allows you go in here and you tell it what phone that you're currently using. So let's see, I have an Android, I'm just gonna say Android. And this tells you what you can, this gives you access to special programs that you can download on your phone that will make it talk seamlessly with your desktop or your computer. So in other words, if I downloaded, let's say Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, which they have made free for all cell phones. It's actually free for Windows phones, Android phones, iPhone. So if I downloaded that and I had a Word file on my computer, I could access it from my phone and automatically open it, edit it, do anything I want to, just as if I was sitting at my computer. Vice versa, make something on your phone, it's automatically back on your desktop at home.
You mean to say Word, Microsoft Office is free for iPhones?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, Microsoft Word, Excel, and PowerPoint are now free
Is
for.
it an app or something?
Yeah, they're apps.
Just an app. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they went free on the 29th when Windows 10 came out.
Ah,
Because they want everybody to really see how they're making, just like Apple and Android's been doing, where it's seamless. You get a new phone, you put in your username and password, voila, there's your stuff. Same thing with Windows 10. No matter what device you have, you log into that program with your username and your password, your Microsoft account, and voila, all your stuff sits right there, and you can access it and use it. Same with Skype, because some people know this, some people don't. Skype is owned by Microsoft. They bought them a couple years ago. So same thing, you sign in with your Skype account on your phone, you add a phone number to it, it's going to be at home ready for you to go as well. Let's see what else. We got emails, everybody knows email, that's nothing new. Cortana, as you see, is coming soon. Eventually you will be able to have Cortana on your iPhone and your Apple devices. And what makes that nice is Cortana actually learns what you do. It learns what you search for, it learns how you talk, and it will actually show you different, when you click on it, it will show you different recommendations on news articles you might like, or if you have a package that you're tracking, it would actually track the package for you. And when you have Cortana on your phone, it's seamless once again. So you walk away from your computer, you're watching a package, waiting for it to be delivered. You walk away from your computer, as soon as that package is delivered, your phone's going to ding. And you didn't have to set your phone up to track it. It doesn't do anything. Cortana does it automatically.
you're saying Siri doesn't learn?
All of them learn. But what I meant by that was, since it's going to be on Android and iPhone, whereas Siri learns as long as you're on an Apple device,
Right.
Cortana learns and brings that across all your platforms. So, because you may sit at home at night and be relaxed and search for something that you would never search for while you was at work. Well, now your computer knows that you are interested in that stuff, but your phone thinks you're interested in work stuff only. Well, when you bring it all together, Cortana can actually differentiate between the two and know what time of day to show you what stuff.
Incredible.
So yeah, that's what I meant by that. It remembers across the board, where Siri, you'd have to replace your iPhone 6 with an iPhone 7 in order to keep that learn. If not, you're starting over. Okay, let's see. Snap Assist. Everybody probably remembers when you could take your screen and snap it to one side of the screen, and you have two screens halfway across. Let's say, for example. So in other words, I snap it like that. Dang, I keep forgetting I'm not showing you guys the same thing. So in other words, when you have two things on half the screen. Well, with Windows 10, you can actually do 4 windows at once. You can snap them to all 4 corners of your screen. And with the Snap Assist, and you guys have a piece of paper that I typed up all the keyboard shortcuts. You'll see the shortcut. You can take a window, snap it to the right, and then snap it to the top right. And then take the next one, and you can use your keyboard to actually snap your pictures around the screen, or your programs. So that way you can have multiple programs running and be able to see them all. I see, okay. Another thing that Microsoft added, where'd my mouse go? This is disconcerting. There we go. Actually, no, I'm going to pull up on the screen. Another thing that they added is called the Action Center. The Action Center is pretty much, most of us in here have seen a smartphone, if not have one. On the Apples, when you pull up from the bottom, and on Androids, when you pull down from the top, It gives you, your messages, your missed phone calls, your emails. That's what the Action Center is. If you have any messages, it hides in that Action Center, which is a little icon. It looks like a little messaging icon, and it's down by your clock. And that's all that is. It just gives you updates if your antivirus needs update. Instead of putting a big old blurb out that drives you nuts, it just puts it in that Action Center. All right, now, I have a lot of slides on Cortana, but I'm not going to go through every one of them because there's a lot of them. Pretty much, like I said, Cortana is going to be your personal assistant. You can use it to set reminders. It does recognize your natural voice without the user having to predefine, like I was saying. The only time you predefine your voice is when you want to lock anybody else out from using it. Because Cortana does have a feature that you can turn on. It's off by default, but you can turn it on. But all you have to do is say, "Hey Cortana," and Cortana goes ding, and then you give her a command and you walk and you keep going. So that's when you usually want to lock it to your voice, because you don't want just anybody walking into your house, "Hey Cortana," and then make your computer go to somewhere it ain't supposed to go because they asked it to. It is a Microsoft product, so it does use Bing for all of its searches. And it's probably going to stay that way. As much as we would like to go in there and change it to Google, doubt it. But it's still pretty good. You can go in there, ask it any question. What's the weather? What's the traffic on my way to work? What's the meaning of pi? Who cares? She's going to find the answer and give it to you.
Does Bing automatically come with Windows 10?
Yes. Yes. Like I said, that is a Microsoft product.
Now, I've never heard of this Cortana. Is that an app, or is it it's already on 10?
Yes, it is part of Windows 10. It comes pre-installed, ready to go. The only configuring is it asks you what your name is, because it will address you by name every time. The nice feature is you can take notes with Cortana, whether you type it or dictate it.
Can Cortana, is it voice to text?
Yep. Voice to text and text to speech, it has. The text to speech has been around for a while, people just didn't know it, so that works pretty good.
Oh.
But with Cortana, you can tell it to take a note, write an email. If you're using Outlook or any of the Microsoft line of email clients, you can dictate all your emails. So you say, "Cortana, send an email to Joe. Subject," dictate your subject, dictate your body. When you're done, you pause for a minute. She says, "Okay, do you want to send it?" Send it, and away it goes. You never touch your computer.
So it's got to be a Microsoft email client.
As of right now. They will eventually make it work across the board, but as of right now, it's only integrated in the Microsoft products. And it does have a little notepad for if you just want to jot down quick notes. It has a little notepad that Cortana will keep those notes in her memory. And again, once it comes on the other phones, you'll be able to access them notes across your phones.
So you could dictate, you could do voice to text in the notepad, and copy it and paste into an AOL
Correct.
email.
Correct. Any other questions? Another feature that I didn't put into the slides, but I want to mention to you. Microsoft also added a new feature. A Word document, a website, email, doesn't matter. When you highlight a word, most people know how to highlight a word. You can now right-click on it, and once you right-click on it, Cortana will come up, and you can click on Cortana, and she will look that word up for you.
Oh, the dictionary.
Yep.
Oh.
It will look the word up. You can do it with a phrase, and it will search the internet and find. So if somebody says, "Oh, you really need to try this product," select the product, right-click, hit Cortana, boom, she brings you up all the search results for that product. So now you don't have to copy and paste and remember what it is and type it in yourself. You just select, highlight it, right-click on it, and search.
Spell check for you also.
Most programs have spell check in it, but when you're dictating, yeah, she'll spell check for you.
Now, when you're saying just right-click, highlight or right-click, does that Cortana automatically come up, or do you have to set her up before she even comes up?
But when you first get it, you need to set her up with your name,
Gotcha.
and then that's all the setting up you have to do.
Okay, Rich.
Yep.
On my laptop, I lost, when I uploaded the Windows 10, I don't have Explorer any longer.
Yeah, Internet Explorer it's there, but it's hidden because they want you to use Edge. That blue, yeah, this blue little weird looking E.
Right.
That's the new Internet Explorer. That's what they want you to use.
Okay,
Oh, okay.
that can automatically on the.
Windows 10, yes. Like I said, Internet Explorer is still there, but they've got it buried deep because they want you to use that. And if you access a site that can't view, it will switch you to Internet Explorer.
Okay.
It'll ask you first. It'll say, hey, Edge can't do this. Do you want to search Internet Explorer for this page, or do you want to just not even worry about it? So it will ask you.
When you go to Edge, will that automatically gather your favorites from Internet Explorer?
Yes, yes it does.
The stuff under the stars.
Well, in Edge, the star adds a favorite. Your favorite. This is actually for adding a favorite, and your favorites actually live under the lines.
Oh, they live there and
Yeah.
star adds
Yeah.
favorites. Oh, okay.
Which I use Chrome, so there's no favorites in there for me to look. But even though now that Edge has been out, I've been using Edge a little more because it is a lot lighter, a lot faster. It's comparable now. Just some sample commands for Cortana. If you use the Microsoft Calendar, like I said, you can ask her to do pretty much anything. You can tell her to remind you to buy concert tickets, create a meeting, create a budget review meeting. That's just another way of saying meeting. So in other words, Cortana, it does understand quite a few different ways of wording certain things. Like we talked about, you can say, what does the rest of my day look like? If you ask her that, she will read off your calendar for the rest of the day. What's my calendar for Friday? Reads it off to you. When's my next appointment? So on and so forth. You guys get the idea of the calendar commands. Note taking. This is what it says. You click on the notes. You say, pick up eggs, milk. She writes it down. Even sometimes, if you Cortana does have alarm. If you want to use it to wake up in the morning, you can tell her to wake me up at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. She'll set an alarm. Turn your speakers up.
Can't slap her.
Yeah, right. And that's just 3 different ways you can ask her to do it. Set an alarm, wake me up, or wake me up in 2 hours. Maps and directions, this is more if you have a tablet. You can tell it, navigate me home. It's going to automatically take you home. You can say, take me home, or how do I get home?
Yeah.
What's the traffic like on my way to work? Some of these I already touched on once or twice.
Can you put on that, use it like a GPS?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I say, if you have a tablet, now keep in mind it requires the internet to pull up the map and the directions. So if you're going to use it like a GPS, ask where you're going before you leave. You can ask Cortana about local businesses. So all this is pretty much just like Siri and just like Google now. Same questions. Show me the pizza restaurants nearby. Show me the nearest gas station. Find flower shops. Pretty much all the same stuff. Cortana weather, again, just like if you have an Apple phone or an Android, you've asked these questions before. What's the weather today? What's the forecast? Flight commands, you can ask her, what's the status of my flight? Is my flight on time? You ask it in different ways and she's going to find the answer for you.
So Cortana, you can be talking along, you say question mark, comma, period.
Yep, just like Siri and
Like Siri.
Google, yep. They'll put all the dictation marks in there for you. Cortana music commands, you can control whatever music player you got playing. Play artist, play song title. Now, of course, if you just go into Cortana and say play an artist, it's going to open up Windows Media Player and play through there, of course. And this I thought was funny. You can actually ask Cortana some random questions. One of the funny ones now is if you ask her who her daddy is, she'll tell you Bill Gates.
That's funny.
Who's your dad?
And also allows you to ask her to change some settings on your laptop, like airplane mode or open the camera, or find recipes, just some other random questions. Forwards commands, asking about your favorite team. And this is, I thought was funny too. You can ask Cortana who will win and pick 2 teams, and she'll try to tell the future. Try to tell you who she thinks will win.
No, somebody will have to be putting all that information in all the time.
That's why it uses Bing. So yeah, I mean, just like a regular search engine, it's crawling the internet. It's putting all this information in, in some Microsoft server somewhere. So yeah, so she's always when you ask her a question, she's always pulling Bing.
So if you ask Cortana to play I Get Around by the Beach Boys, will it go on YouTube and find it?
It will search any place it can. It will search your hard drive for MP3s. It will search the internet for it.
Okay.
And if it can't find it, it will take you to the Microsoft store and try to sell you the thing.
Now, does that find programs too?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Under the random questions, you can tell it to open up programs or run a certain program.
Or like if I, for instance, my speakers aren't working yet, so can I put in
Yeah, you can say you can put in their sound or sound settings
sound settings?
or speaker settings, and it will come up. I use Cortana for a lot just because I'm lazy, don't want to make 15 clicks when I can click once, type in what I want, and go.
No.
But I have to set it right.
All right, multiple desktops. Pretty much the way Microsoft describes it is if you need to arrange a lot of windows and you don't have multiple monitors, you can put them on multiple virtual desktops. Then you can use Alt-Tab to move between the apps as usual, and Windows Control and left and right arrow keys to move back and forth, which is what I've been doing all night. So like right now I'm on the desktop that's showing my PowerPoint. I want a blank desktop that I've already opened. I use my Windows Control right arrow, and it takes me to the last desktop I was on. And I use Windows Control left arrow to go back. That's why you see it sliding back and forth, because I'm actually changing between 2 desktops.
All right, now I'm stupid.
Uh-huh.
What do you mean Windows arrow? I mean, there's just arrows there. You
No,
don't
I'm
have
talking
to.
about the keys on the keyboard. The Windows key, which is next to Alt,
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
then the Control key, and then the arrow keys on your keyboard.
Okay, gotcha. See,
No. And this is handy if you're working on 2 projects and you want to group things together so you don't get them mixed up. Or if you're on a conference call and you need to share your screen but don't want to close the apps you don't want people to see. And then what that little picture is showing you there is this picture has 4 desktops open. And this particular desktop, as you see, it's brighter than the rest. It has 2 programs running on that desktop. And then this program has 2 programs. This desktop has 2 programs. So essentially, they've got 2, 4, 6, 8 programs running, but you're only looking at 2 at a time. And you can switch easily. So whereas before, on Windows 8 and 7, you had 8 programs running, they were either minimized down to the taskbar, and you had to go click and try to remember which icon meant what, or they were overlapping one another, and you're just trying to make room so you can see them. Now you can just put them on different desktops, use a quick key command, and go back and forth. All right, the new Edge browser, it is faster. And the feature you was asking about a minute ago, they've added Scribble Notes, which, as you can see, Scribble Notes pretty much you can take a website, and I'll show you in a minute, hit a button, and make notes on that website. So like here they circled the vote and said, are you ready for this? And then you can instantly share it by emailing it or putting it on Facebook or whatever to whoever you want it to. You can also put notations in there and email to somebody. So like if you're working on something, say you're working on something for work and they send you something through Dropbox. You know how you can open up a thing in Dropbox and it stays in the browser? But with Edge, you then click on a button, circle, type in, make changes without editing the document. And then take that, send it to the person and say, here's what I think needs to be changed. I have not changed the document because it's your document, but this needs to be changed. And then they see all your circles, all your annotations, everything, and they can make the changes without multiple people making changes, and then by the end something's screwed up and nobody knows who did it.
How do you do the writing?
I'll show you that here in just one, actually I'll show you right now. So as you see, I'm in Cortana now. This little button right here that looks like a square with a pin on it.
Yeah.
You click on that, it brings up several different tools. It brings up your writer, a highlighter, an eraser, your notes, and a clip tool, which means you can clip an image right out of the web page if you want to clip and save an image. So right now, I have my pin selected. So, of course, I'm using a trackpad, so I missed everything I was trying to circle. But you see, I can write on it. If I want to erase it, just click that and erase it. I want to make a note. I can draw a little square here, or put it right there. Make my note, and then hide it. And then once I do everything I want to do, come over to this little circle, and then I can share it. I can either share it to my OneNote, which then from OneNote you have options to put everywhere else. Which OneNote is another program that they made free. It was really a program they added in the office about 4 years ago that nobody used. Everybody hated it. Because nobody understood what it was. All it was is a note-taking program. That's the whole gist of it. But they wanted like $150 for the stupid thing. So in Windows 10 they decided we're going to make it part of Windows 10, give it to everybody, and hopefully they'll which is nice. As a matter of fact, I've installed it on my cell phone. So again, I make notes on my cell phone. I go home and sit down on my laptop, and it pops up on my laptop. I'm like, oh crap, I need to do that. Because it's right there. Or I can mail it off to somebody. You know, we'll mail an image and mail whatever I did. And then you also have the clip tool, which allows you to clip it. As soon as you clip it, it copies it to your clipboard. So then you can go into Microsoft Word and paste it, or go into an email and paste it, or do whatever you want. It takes it right off the web page. And of course, when you're done doing all that, you have your exit, and then it goes back to just being a web browser.
Quick question. Is Windows 10 faster than like Windows 7?
By a lot.
Wow.
She can tell you. She had a computer we thought was on its last leg. We upgraded to Windows 7. She's loving it. Or Windows 10. She's loving it.
Really?
It's as fast as my iPad.
Windows 10 is much lighter. I showed you how Cortana is built into it. Where you can find information out about web pages, about words, about anything. Which makes it nice too. I showed you how you can select a letter or word and search, but you also right click on a link and ask Cortana about that link, and she'll search about that link, which will help you find out if it's legitimate or not. Because she'll search where it's pointed to, she'll search the words for it, she'll search the names for it, and she'll come back and give you all the results so you know before you click on it if it's worth clicking on. Alright. Now this is something I haven't had to play with. But Microsoft built in a whole new support thing with Windows 10. Pretty much you can go in here, search their database for questions, check their health, their FAQ. If you can't find any answers through there, they have a direct chat. You can click one button and automatically be talking to a Microsoft representative, a real Microsoft representative, not one of these fake people that call you on the cell telephone. It's actually Microsoft. And they will walk you through, help you, they say with anything. Up to 15 minutes. So they'll help you change settings, they'll help you find things, they'll help you fix problems for up to 15 minutes. And then after that, they want their money. Alright, that's pretty much the basics, pretty much it. I mean, Windows 10 has a lot of advanced features that you'll stumble upon. Most people do. And then they can't figure out how to undo what they just stumbled upon, so they call me and I have to come undo it. But as far as, you know, what's changed, and, you know, as far as what's changed and how to use it, that's the basics. If you can use 7, you can use 10.